This is part 2, episode 140. 10 arenas, within one of them, the white-robed youth carrying the blood blade won. He turned and was obviously shocked when he saw the arena Luo Feng was in, creasing his eyebrows slightly, saying, Luo Feng, Luo Feng? The green-haired lady Qian Shui, who had similarly achieved victory, looked at the distant Luo Feng in his arena with her bright and intelligent eyes right. During the time Luo Feng won, 3 victors had been decided. They were Bolan, Qian Shui, and Luo Feng. It may have seemed like a slow exchange, but Luo Feng's was actually very fast. Similarly, a green-haired youth with engravings on his face revealed a smile in his arena. Big brother, big brother. Qian Shui shouted and cheered. Her big brother Jiang Mo had entered the top 10 as well. Both siblings entered the top 10. The victors of the 10 arenas began to emerge one by one. Bolan, Qian Shui, Luo Feng, Jiang Mo, Lancelot, Wuke, Ari Chen, Long Yun, Ao Pa Ti La, and the final one. Rong Jun. The battle between Jiu Sai Luo and Rong Jun was the longest one of the 10. Jiu Sai Luo was a so-called perfect spirit reader controller. From the beginning of the battle, he seemed to be in control. As the rank 2 of the training space round and the one with the most hope of being the second one to enter the primal secret area, he actually lost to Savage Rong Jun. Rong Jun won. Jiu Sai Luo actually lost. The one with the most hope of getting number 2, Jiu Sai Luo, he actually lost. The spectators on site, over 900 absolute geniuses, were all completely shocked. At the same time, the 9 victors in the arenas all stared hard at the blood-covered war god Rong Jun, who looked like he just came from the wilderness. Powerful blade work, what terrifying blade work. Even death god Bolan creased his eyebrows. Everyone else, including Luo Feng, could barely contain their shocked expressions. This blade work. Luo Feng stared at Savage Rong Jun, looking at the huge blade. He remembered that brutal slash that could even slice mountains. So his movement wasn't his strongest trait, it was his blade work instead. Luo Feng stared at the youth Rong Jun. At the same time he reminisced about his match with him from 5 years ago. My true aim is the entire universe's number 1. That roar seemed to resound in Luo Feng's ears once again. Number 1? So, this savage Rong Jun wasn't just making bold comments. Yes, Rong Jun had so much knowledge on even the 4 secret areas of the virtual universe company. Obviously he wasn't just a simple frog in the well. Luo Feng thought he had so much information on the standards of the previous number 1s of the competitions, and he dared to actually say his aim was to be the overall number 1, meaning he had some guarantee. Before unleashing that completely shocking blade work, Rong Jun was regarded as one who would reach within the top 20, but now that he's defeated Jiu Sai Luo, top 5, he definitely has strength who could reach top 5. The large youth that was completely black, Ao Pa Ti La, said softly, that blade work is simply, the green-robed purple-scaled man flew in mid-air. Formless pressure naturally caused the 1,000 geniuses to turn to him. Congratulations to the 10 victors. You've entered the top 10, your prize has risen to 1,000 mixed elements, and you have the right to enter the absolute beginning secret area. The green-armored purple-scaled man smiled. This time's top 10 battles have been very exciting. Some punks have actually really surprised me. The 1,000 geniuses along with the 1,008 undyings all listened obediently to that 9 blades knight. Bolan, Qian Shui, Luo Feng, Jiang Mo, Lancelot, Wuke, Ari Chen, Long Yun, Ao Pa Ti La, Rong Jun, congratulations to the 10 of you. In a moment, we'll pick the top 5 from you 10 and finally the top 2 from the final 5. The green-armored purple-scaled man smiled. As to how you are separated into your groups, according to the virtual universe system's set rules on how fast you completed your match before, there were some quick and slow matches before. The fastest will battle against the slowest, the second fastest will battle against the second slowest, and so on. The 1,008 undyings were shocked. The 990 spectating geniuses were shocked too. Even the 10 absolute geniuses who were about to battle were stunned. The time sequence was Bolan, Qian Shui, Luo Feng, Jiang Mo, Lancelot, Wuke, Ari Chen, Long Yun, Ao Pa Ti La, and Rong Jun. If the fastest were to match up against the slowest, then Bolan was up against Rong Jun. Qian Shui versus Ao Pa Ti La. Luo Feng against Long Yun. Jiang Mo against Ari Chen. Lancelot against Wuke. The most outstanding from the earlier battle, Rong Jun, actually matched up against the terrifying death god Bolan. According to what everyone present thought, including the 1,008 undyings, everyone regarded meeting the death god as a sure loss without doubt. Rong Jun against Bolan? Luo Feng looked at the distant wild youth. That's bad. Even though Rong Jun's true strength is terrifying, no matter how much his strength explodes, his opponent is Bolan. And Bolan far exceeds the rest of us. Rong Jun will definitely lose. As Bolan was too strong, one could see just from the training space what the outcome would be. Being ahead of everyone by an entire tower, almost everyone held their breaths for Rome June. One had to know that the settings by the virtual universe system couldn't be changed, and only accepted. Also, other than the 9 present, no one else would want to meet Bolan. However, one would ultimately have to. And this unlucky person was Rome June. Rest for a while, the arena duels will begin shortly. The green armored purple scared man's voice resounded in everyone's ears. Interesting, really interesting. 13, your 2 seedlings from the Gunwu universe country are both very powerful. Especially that Rome Jun. While others are using techniques created by ancestors and earlier generations, that Rome Jun actually created his own technique. That blade work, after fusing both the ground and space origin laws together, the strength is actually so powerful. If he didn't meet Bolan, he could have totally made it to number 2. Don't compliment him so much. He is strong, but that other one. Luo Feng doesn't seem any weaker. His mental state and willpower is perfect within his generation. One's willpower and mental state will determine how far one finally goes later on. In comparison, I actually prefer Luo Feng. As for Rome Jun, actually he's still too weak now in the star level. Creating his own technique at this time is too early. Learn from others first, at least become a sector lord, and when your sights have widened and your understanding of the origin laws have gotten deeper, it wouldn't be too late to create your own technique. Then, makes sense. What you say isn't exactly right. That Rome Jun creating his own technique, even though it's just the beginning, you can still see how huge that power is. And by creating one's own technique, when unleashing its strength, it becomes even greater. Other people's techniques are after all still others, your own would be best. It's much too early for that. Now isn't the time to be creating your own technique. Surrounding the scale-armored giant, the other Undyings began to discuss. The scale-armored giant creased his eyebrows. Looking at the distant Rome Jun and Luo Feng, his eyes could hardly suppress the happiness. These 2 punks really surprise me time and again. Among the 1008 universe countries competing, there are actually 2 of them in the top 10 from our Gunwu universe country. Haha, if the leader knew, he'd be very happy. The 1008 Undyings in the plaza, along with the 990 other geniuses, were constantly discussing. However, the final 10 geniuses were quietly waiting. Initially they felt a little pity for Rome Jun, but after, they all began to notice their own opponent, Long Yun. Luo Feng looked at the distant silhouette. He was tall at 2 meters, he had a muscular build and looked strong. Wearing a strange style of heavy armor, he had a helmet with a horn on it. His gaze was deep and unfathomable, and the side of his face even had some yellow fur. He was Long Yun, a very low-profile youth from the Lanting universe country. He had never attracted anyone's attention. Since the beginning of the gathering of the million geniuses, people like hypnotist Jiolai 11, the Manka Prince, AOG User Planet's genius siblings, Savage Rome Jun, etc., many had reputations that were much more renowned. However, no one really paid attention to Long Yun. During the training space, even though he was in the top 100, he was still in the back 50. As for making it into the top 100, Long Yun's victories were simple. These victories were not very glaring or outstanding, because everyone else's victories were simple too eye-catching. Making it into the top 10, Long Yun's victory seemed very taxing. This Long Yun's strength? Luo Feng jumped within. Right, I've never really noticed him before. Very average and keeping a low profile, this was Long Yun. What seemed like a rather normal punk actually made it to the top 10, Luo Feng. Sitting not too far from Luo Feng was the wild youth, communicating via genetic energy. Something the matter? Luo Feng looked over. Be careful of Long Yun. The wild youth communicated. From my observations and information gathered before, among the top 20, 19 of them have comprehension of 2 origin laws. Only 1 person has comprehension of just 1 origin law. Luo Feng stepped through the gateway of gold and space laws. Rome Jun stepped through the gateway of ground and space laws. Everyone else was similar, like the death god Bolan stepped through the gateway of wind and space laws, while Yi Feng stepped through wind and wood, or that I Chen stepping through light and time. Of the 19 that stepped through 2 gateways, 8 had stepped through space, 6 stepped through time, the other 5 didn't have any comprehension of time or space at all. However, no matter the case, these 19 are all that stepped through 2 gateway laws. Only 1 person had comprehension of just 1 origin law, and that's Long Yun. The wild youth communicated. Luo Feng was shocked. He hadn't researched so much in detail. In the history of every genius competition between the 1008 universe countries' absolute geniuses, those that were able to make it into the top 20 were mostly all who comprehended two origin laws, or focused on space or time. He comprehends the ground origin laws, which are very heavy and grounded. His defense is extremely strong, and his attack is very strong too. His comprehension far exceeds my single use of the ground origin laws. Be careful. Rong Jun communicated, thanks. Luo Feng replied, no need, I don't have a big chance of victory in my fight. If you can win, I'll be happy too. Rong Jun said. Luo Feng looked at Rong Jun and smiled, all the best, you never know, you might be able to topple that Bolan, ha ha. You never know, however I will never admit defeat easily. Rong Jun smiled back. Half an hour later. The original arenas in the plaza had vanished, tremors began again, and 5 even more luxurious and beautiful arenas rose and floated above. The light cover on the arenas were translucent light membranes. These membranes, under the light ball in the sky, reflected 7 colors of light below. It was beautiful. As for the 10 youth geniuses, they were all transported to their respective arenas. Rong Jun against Bolan, Luo Feng against Long Yun, 5 absolute pinnacle battles. It was about to begin. Within the beautiful arena, Luo Feng faced Long Yun. Long Yun's entire body was covered in heavy armor. His helmet had a horn on it. With a flip of his hand he brandished a terrifying huge axe, his eyes staring hard at Luo Feng, a powerful strength-based fighter. The skinny Luo Feng stood on the dark cloud shuttle, carrying the Nanshan armament on his back. He was a proper spirit reader controller. You are very strong. A thick booming voice, almost like a bull roaring. Long Yun stared coldly at Luo Feng, emphasizing, you are much stronger than what I expected. To show you the respect I have for such a strong warrior like yourself, I will use my full strength and defeat you. The moment his words ended, yellow energy began to emanate from his body. This yellow energy rippled about, the surrounding space seemed to almost condense and solidify. A formless heavy pressure was formed. This made the distant Luo Feng's expression change. It's too abnormal, monster, this madness, this Long Yun is really sly and simply too devious. The spectating 990 geniuses were all shocked. Even the distant 1008 undyings, among those who were watching this match, many of them revealing a look of shock, right, to be able to rely on only the ground origin laws to make it into the top 10. Also, to have such deep comprehension of the ground laws, yet not stepping into the space laws is the weird thing. But it's really true, it's just this way. And just his domain alone was already that terrifying. Luo Feng squinted, staring at the distant wild fighter Long Yun who was releasing his domain. The top 10 of the universe, all of them had their domains, and most of their domains were at level 9s. Having a domain wasn't strange at all, however this wild fighter's domain had almost perfectly melded the ground origin laws with it. The moment he released his domain, the space around it felt almost like it condensed and solidified. It was terrifying. His comprehension of the ground origin laws is even stronger than Rong Jun's. As for the space origin law comprehension, there's no way to confirm, but from the look of his domain, it shows that his fusion is almost perfect. Luo Feng understood that he was in a predicament. He had comprehended 2 origin laws and melded them together perfectly. Like the Nanshan armament, which required 2 types of origin laws to be fused together. However, this was something Luo Feng was able to achieve only when he actually used Nanshan armament. As for himself, after all, the gold origin laws were reliant on the golden horned beast and the space origin laws were reliant on the Mosha clan clone. Using them together was his earth body. Luo Feng's improvement was too quick indeed. The resulting fusing efficiency was not able to keep up with the golden horned beast and Mosha clan's speed. Let the battle begin. The green armored purple scaled man shot a look at the distant Long Yun in the arena and said. The 5 battles began immediately. Go! Standing on the dark cloud shuttle in mid-air, Luo Feng pointed at Long Yun. Immediately 9 golden energy flows shot out from the dark golden long rod on his back, immediately forming 9 golden blades, with the golden energy wrapped around it. The 9 golden rainbows were like 9 golden dragon heads, roaring as they rushed towards that wild fighter Long Yun solidly standing on the ground. 9 golden rainbows, let's see how many you can block. Luo Feng looked on. The yellow domain with a diameter of 50 meters seemed incredibly solid. The 9 golden rainbow speeds dropped drastically the moment they entered the domain, so much so that one could even see the difference in speed. It was almost as though piercing through the domain was incredibly difficult. When they reached about 50 meters away from Long Yun's body, their speeds had already dropped till only 1/3 of the original. Their power were also reduced compared to before. The golden rainbows clashed with his armor. Long Yun didn't even budge. This domain has already, in mid-air. Luo Feng's expression changed greatly. Earth's thickness and heaviness, space and domain best combination. These three are perfectly fused. The distant 1008 Undyings, that tall and huge bull man laughed loudly. It seems like just from his domain's pressure alone, Long Yun ranks number 1 in the top 10. Bolan emphasizes more on speed, Long Yun emphasizes on defense. These two are completely different. This Luo Feng is unlucky. The last time he met the difficult July 11, and now the even stronger Long Yun. When the distant Undyings were discussing Long Yun, he had already taken a big step and rushed towards Luo Feng. Rumble. The running Long Yun, every step made the entire arena rumble, almost as though an entire mountain was rushing forward, following which his body became a blur and flew into the air. Luo Feng immediately used the 9 threads and left 9 images in mid-air, dodging far away. Rumble. Long Yun landed on the ground. Long Yun, take my strongest move. In mid-air, Luo Feng roared, gritting his teeth, sky-piercing formation. The 9 golden rainbows immediately stopped in mid-air. They simultaneously swiftly flew together and fused. These 9 golden lights immediately became one body as large amounts of blurry golden threads weaved through each other. The golden light it formed also constantly shrank, and the golden threads were constantly growing thinner, even though it seemed like it was shrinking. In truth, every golden blade was formed from 9 little blades. This golden light fusion was actually made from 81 little golden blades together, and these 81 blades were small in form. The only thing was it was closing the distance between each of them. In the blink of an eye, the 81 blades had fused perfectly, forming one single true golden blade. This golden blade didn't seem like an illusion at all, it was solid. At 1/3 of a meter long, it was completely formed by the 81 little golden blades melding together. As they continued to condense and tightly fuse, simultaneously countless golden threads weaved through it, causing this blade to be incomparably real and perfect. Examining it further, one couldn't even find a trace or mark of the parts, almost as though it had always been this 1/3 meter long golden blade. The golden engravings on its surface caused the entire blade to emit an ancient aura. Nanshan Armament 2nd level, sky-piercing formation. The golden blade wrapped with the golden energy flow was almost like a comet, leaving behind a golden energy flow as it streaked towards Long Yun. Long Yun's expression changed. The yellow domain he controlled shook the ground. Like a needle piercing through layers of cloth, even after entering the yellow domain all the way, it still had 80% of its power, raw. Long Yun waved his terrifying huge axe. The area around the axe seemed to be pressurized, immediately hitting that golden blade. Rumble. The arena shook violently. Long Yun took 3 heavy steps back, every step itself shaking the arena. 990 spectating geniuses, along with the 1008 Undyings, were all surprised as they watched this scene. Surprise! What a surprise! This Luo Feng has not only reached the 2nd level of the 10,000 threads, his gold origin law's comprehension has improved greatly too. He can actually use the sky-piercing formation. A group of Undyings were shocked. This time's competition not only had the once-in-a-trillion years exceptional genius Death God Bolan, simultaneously it had others that could definitely made it to number 1 in the other competitions. July 11, Luo Feng, Gu Sai Luo, Rong Jun, Long Yun. If they were in the earlier competitions, they definitely could get number 1. Even if it wasn't number 1, they'd have made it to the top 3. And this time, it was a gathering of the elite. In terms of origin laws, Luo Feng was indeed much better at his gold laws than the space laws. One must know Luo Feng had begun to feel the gold laws much earlier, and in terms of difficulty, space laws were much harder than the gold laws. Ever since he began using the 9 threads. Fusing the 9 threads along with his gold laws comprehension, Luo Feng could fuse the 9 blades into one to form the sky-piercing formation. This was his big trump card, he had no rush to use it. When he was in the training space 6th tower before, he faced 10,000 blood hair mammoths. Against 10,000, Luo Feng's blades weren't enough, naturally using the 9 made more sense. Against Long Yun, however, 1v1, the sky-piercing formation was stronger, very good. Long Yun's eyes gleamed, immediately rushing forward with a stride. He managed to deflect the power? Only suffering light injuries. Luo Feng creased his eyebrows. The power of the sky-piercing formation was shocking. One could be said to be invincible in the star level for being able to use the first dream blade formation. If that was the case, then using the sky-piercing second formation was even more invincible. This was comparable to even the golden horned beast in the same level, or even pressuring it. It was mentioned before that the golden horned beast wasn't the crazy training types. This meant that only in these pinnacle genius competitions will one even meet a match. Rumble. Long Yun rushed into the sky, the yellow energy flow following and covering that huge axe. Luo Feng, however, had long formed 9 images and dodged, go. Luo Feng dodged and roared. The golden blade once again pierced towards Long Yun, rumble. It seemed like a simple straightforward pierce. However, it was infused with unimaginable strength, only slightly weakening in Long Yun's heavy domain. However, Long Yun still only stepped back and deflected the power. Time and again the golden blade pierced forward. Long Yun was like a tortoise blocking it over and over. He wanted to chase Luo Feng, however Luo Feng's speed on the dark cloud shuttle was too fast. Within the 5 arenas, the matches ended one after another. Bolan against Rong Jun, Bolan wins. Qian Shui against Ao Pa Ti La, Qian Shui wins. Jian Mo against Ai Chen wins. Lancelot against Wuka wins. Only one battle remained at this point. That was between Long Yun and Luo Feng. Long Yun was like a shelled warrior blocking the sky-piercing formation time and again. Even though his body's injuries were still within his control, the Golden Blade's attacks had also affected his speed, making him unable to immediately explode and chase after Luo Feng. The fighter's close-range explosion in speed was very shocking, enough to close in and kill a controller. It was a pity, the sky-piercing formation stopped Long Yun, and he couldn't do anything against Luo Feng. And Luo Feng had used even soul attacks, yet he couldn't do anything against Long Yun. These two were at a stalemate. Minutes and seconds passed and the arena space gradually shrank. The longest one of these pinnacle fights lasted was 10 minutes. The arena would continue to shrink till its diameter was but 1 m. This was to stop a controller from constantly flying far away, a constant rule throughout. Damn, Luo Feng's in trouble. As the arena continues to shrink more, there will be only 1 kilometer in diameter left. Luo Feng's circling space will shrink too. It will be very disadvantageous to him. When there was only 100 meter in diameter left, Luo Feng could only force a smile. 100 mil ion. At star level 9, just one step could close that distance. The more important thing was that Long Yun's domain maintained the highest of pressures within an area of 50 m. Considering that the arena's diameter was only 100 m now, his pressure almost covered the entire arena space. That meant that no matter where Luo Feng flew to avoid him, he would still be in the domain. In terms of domain pressures, no one was Long Yun's match. Even Bolan would have been weaker. In that little area, Long Yun's face flushed red. He was madly dancing with the huge axe. The domain pressure had completely stifled Luo Feng, persevering until the space had only a diameter of 50 meter left. Luo Feng finally fell. His loss seemed unfair, yet not unfair at all. It was unfair because if the space hadn't shrunk, Long Yun would never have gotten the chance to close in and kill him. It wasn't unfair because in terms of law comprehension and fusion and usage, his opponent was indeed stronger in every way. The top 5 had been picked out. They were Bolan, Qian Shui, Ai Chen, Wuka, and Long Yun. 3 men and 2 ladies, very exciting. These 5's battles have indeed been exciting with many surprises. The green armored purple scaled man smiled and looked at the 1,000 youths. Everyone take a rest. In a second, these 5 will engage in a winner's round duel. The rules are, every one of the 5 will have to battle each of the other 4. Each victory will get 1 point and the final points will determine the top 1 and 2. After a while, Luo Feng lifted some tea and drank. Rong Jun sat beside him and both of them watched the distant battles in the arenas. What a pity. Rong Jun sighed. You actually reached the sky-piercing formation. You definitely had the power to make it to number 2. If one said that Long Yun was strong in defense, then you Rong Jun are strong in offense. If you hadn't met Bolan, you could have the chance to make it to number 2. Luo Feng laughed too. These two exchanged glances and laughed. These two were both strong-willed and well-planned people. Luo Feng insisted on his path of a controller while Rong Jun insisted on his own created techniques. Each road had trillions of pathways. The main thing was being committed to one's choice. After all, any road could lead to becoming an absolute strong warrior. The only fear would be that in doubting oneself in this genius battle, the 2 of them were considered unlucky. One of them met Bolan, while the other lost due to the shrinking of arena. It had ended. The journey for both of them had ended here, as they were finally able to reach within the top 10. This Long Yun sure is strong. Rong Jun exclaimed, as he looked at him defeat the Manca Prince in the arena. His domain fusion is stronger than you, however his axe work cannot compare to your blade work. Luo Feng said, "Look, that Qian Shui is really powerful. She's the only controller of the top 5. However, her attack strength obviously cannot compare to your sky-piercing formation. If you were there, you could have easily defeated Qian Shui." Rong Jun said. While they chatted and watched the battles, the matches passed by quickly. Soon, the final results were out. Bolan, after 4 consecutive victories, he became the undisputed number 1. Long Yun, with 3 wins 1 loss, became number 2. He lost against Bolan. Bolan's blade work was simply too fast and vicious. Bolan gained the right to enter the primal secret area, and everybody accepted that. As for Long Yun entering the primal secret area, that aroused many people's suspicion. After all, Jiolai 11, Luo Feng, Rong Jun were all comparable to him. However, if any of these made it into the primal secret area, they too would have aroused the same suspicion similarly. Without any clear exceptional lead, everybody wouldn't be convinced. The 1,000 geniuses and 1,008 undying stood in the plaza and listened to the purple-armored purple-scaled man speak. Number 1 and 2, numbers 3 to 10, numbers 11 to 100, numbers 101 to 1,000, the 4 levels have been picked out. This time's pinnacle genius competition of humans has ended perfectly today. The green-armored purple-scaled man smiled. You all have been a very exceptional batch. I believe that in 10 to 100 eras, there will be many of you whose names alone will shake the entire universe. Later there will be a specialist contacting you to take you to our virtual universe company's main headquarters. There, you will gather and later head to the primal universe. From today on, your paths will no longer be ordinary. Our virtual universe company will use our full strength to assist you. As for whether you become powerful beings who shake the entire universe, or normal warriors, or die midway, it all depends on yourself. Work hard, your path to become strong has just begun. The green-robed purple-scaled man's voice resounded in everyone's minds. This genius competition had finally ended. This video will end here. Thank you for watching.